What is wrong with the world? What is wrong with people in general? Some people, anyway. That's the question I want y'all to try to help me to figure out the answer to here. Thank y'all again for being here. Welcome back to the channel. And my name's Wes again. And today I want to talk about what's wrong with people. What in the world is wrong with people? Today is the 4th of July. That's when I'm shooting this. So you may hear some fireworks and some dogs barking in the background. That's all it is, 4th of July, folks shooting fireworks and all. But speaking of the 4th of July, today I want to share a story with y'all, okay? I want to share what happened last night. I went to a fireworks show last night in my hometown here. They always have it on July 3rd here for whatever reason. You didn't even hear folks shooting. It's not even dark yet, but whatever. So anyway, so they always have it on July 3rd here where I live. And so I went last night, and I went by myself. And the reason that I went by myself is because, well, God has a way of isolating us sometimes whenever we're on the spiritual path and the path to awakening. And those of you who are on a similar path will understand what I'm talking about there. So I went by myself because, again, I'm kind of going through a period or a season of my life of isolation, I guess you could say, of aloneness. It doesn't mean that I'm lonely. It just means that to me, I think that God is further refining me and so on. So nonetheless, I went to this thing by myself, and I just want to kind of set the scene, okay? So I'm going to kind of tell y'all this story, and I want to tell y'all something that happened with this couple of individuals there. I mean, it's really no big deal, but it just kind of made me think, you know, people are living in fear. People are afraid of their own shadows. Like literally, they're afraid of what's inside of themselves because they don't want to look at it. So anyway, I kind of saw that expressed outwardly last night at this fireworks show. Okay, so let me kind of set the scene. All right, so again, it's downtown at the town that I live, and within about I'd say a half-mile radius of where they actually shoot the fireworks at, there were thousands of people scattered about, kind of in a half-mile radius from the center where they're actually shooting them at. Okay, so there was, you know, clusters of just tons of people, thousands of people. I don't know how many people were there, but there was a lot of people. So I found an area that was kind of on the outskirts just a little bit. You know, it wasn't right there in the main cluster of where a lot of folks were, because, you know, I wanted to come and kind of be a part of the community, and I wanted to come watch the fireworks and just kind of have something to do last night. You know, I didn't really have anything going on, so I figured, why not come on down here and watch the fireworks show, see what it's all about. And you know, I like being around people too. I love people, you know. I don't necessarily love being in a tremendous crowd of folks, but I do love people, and I like seeing people and kind of observing people and things like that. So nonetheless, my comfort zone in a situation like that, especially when I'm by myself, is just kind of off in the cut a little bit, you know, on the outskirts, and that way I can kind of still see the action, but not be just in the midst of all these hundreds and hundreds of people all around me and everything. So that's kind of where I was. I found this area that had several park benches. Okay, so I'm kind of setting the scene here. These park benches were, you know, they were spaced maybe, I'd say, about 50 feet apart or something like that, and there were several of them. And it was kind of like little platforms too, you know. There'd be a couple little steps separating, so kind of step down a little bit, and there was a gazebo as well. So anyway, so I find this one park bench, and there's a few other people, you know, way over, you know, 3 or 4 benches over, you know, and there's a couple other people over here. And so I'm sitting there, I'm just chilling again by myself, maybe 30 minutes or so before the fireworks started. You know, I'm just there, just hanging out, just kind of sitting there, just kind of taking it all in, you know, just kind of sitting there, just hanging out, waiting for the fireworks to start. So anyway, so I'm there maybe about 15 minutes, and then these couple of women come up, and they have 2 small children with them. Okay, so it's 2 women and 2 small children, 2 little girls. These little girls were probably about 3 and 4 years old. One was a little bit bigger than the other one, but they were about 3 and 4 years old, I'd say. And they sit on the bench that's closest to me. Okay, to my left is where they were. To the bench that's you know, closest to me. Like I said, it was still about 50 feet away. It's not like it was right next to me or anything. So they're sitting over there, and I'm on my little bench. And like I said, there's this gazebo as well. And this gazebo is it's not directly in front of me, but it's kind of in front of me and then off to the right just a little bit. So the gazebo is closer to me than it is to, where these two ladies and the two children are sitting. So I say the gazebo is maybe 30 feet away from me or something like that, kind of in front of me and off to the right, like I said. So anyway, these little girls, they're kind of running back and forth between the bench where their moms are sitting and the gazebo and everything, and they're just playing and having fun and running around doing what little 3 and 4 year olds do. They're just playing. So anyway, I'm again just hanging out, just doing my own thing, and then after just a couple minutes of the girls back and forth, one of the moms, it seemed like it was only one of the moms. The other one didn't really seem to mind it too much. She was just kind of like whatever, she was keeping an eye on her kid and all that, as you would expect one to do. So one of these moms, she kept hollering at her kid to come back, and the kid wasn't listening, essentially, right? So finally, she comes over there, and she walks like directly in front of me, maybe 10 feet in front of me or so, and she kind of looks over at me, and she kind of gives me a dirty look, I don't know, she kind of looked at me ugly. I'm like, lady, I'm just sitting here chilling, what? And then, so she kind of gives me this dirty look, and then she walks over to the gazebo where her kid is, and she grabs her kid, and she walks her further away. She walks her another, 50 or 100 feet over there. I thought they were going to the bathroom or something, I didn't know. But they just stood there on the other side of this gazebo for just a minute, and the mom kind of like bends down and is telling the little girl something, you just kind of tell the mom's telling her something, right? So anyway, and again, I'm just chilling. I enjoy kind of observing people. I like, being attuned to the environment that I'm in. And, this lady gives me kind of a dirty look whenever she walks by. And I'm like, what was that about, right? So I'm just kind of seeing what they're doing over there. So anyway, they come back by, and she looks over at me again as they're walking back to the bench, and the little girl's right there in tow with her and everything. And I'm like, what in the world is this? So then they go back over to their bench, and then the girls are like glued to the bench with their moms and everything. And then, so again, our intuition is an important thing. It can guide us if we can listen to it and we can discern that it's actually the Spirit talking to us, right? So I'm asking myself in that present moment right there, what's the deal here? What's happening? So what my intuition tells me is that woman who came over there and kind of gave me the dirty look, then pulled her kid off over there and talked to her for a minute, and then all of a sudden they went back. She was afraid. She thought that because I'm different, okay? I'm just this guy by myself at this event where thousands of people were, but I did find myself purposefully in an area where not many people were, because I just don't like being in the middle of all the action. So I positioned myself there purposefully about 15 minutes before they got there, right? So my intuition told me that they weren't comfortable with me being there, that she pulled her little girl over there because she was afraid that, some guy who's just there by himself, he must be up to no good. He must be there with ill intent, and she was afraid that her little girl was going to get, I don't know, who knows. But nonetheless, she gives me the ugly looks, and then they're glued to the bench and all of this. My intuition told me that she was afraid, and it's like they were uncomfortable with just this man by himself sitting there without a family, without a woman, just sitting there chilling by himself and everything. And so that's what my intuition told me. So it's like, well, what do I do here? What do I do? So what I ended up doing, and again, this is probably about 10 minutes before the fireworks were going to start, okay? So what I did was I got up and I walked off. And that's what I did, I started to just sit there, but I'm like, you know what? If I just sit here, they're going to be sitting there uncomfortable the entire time, thinking that I'm some creepy dude or whatever, It's like, do I give off a creepy vibe? I don't know. I would hope not. I'm there to enjoy the fireworks and everything and be a part of the community. And anyway, so I just walked off. So anyway, as I get up to walk off, I'm not maybe 20 feet from the bench, walking the opposite direction out of the general area and everything. I'm like, all right, I'll find me in other areas. A few minutes before the fireworks start, I'll just find somewhere to just kind of post up and watch these fireworks, whatever, right? even if there's more people around. So that's what I did. And I'm not maybe 20 feet or so from where I was actually sitting. Again, walking in the opposite direction. And all of a sudden I hear the two little girls, they darted from the bench that they were at with their moms back to the little gazebo area. And the moms, and again, it was just the one mom. It wasn't really the other mom. It was just the one mom. She's yelling for her kid, whatever the kid's name was. I don't know. She's yelling at the kid, get back here, and all this. And of course, the kid wasn't listening, you know. And I just kind of shook my head and just kept on walking, you know. So they were afraid. They were judging me. They were going off of, you know, whatever they have inside of them. And obviously what they have inside of them is fear. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25, it says, fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. Again, Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25. Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. So it seemed to me like with that whole situation that, you know, again, they were judging a book by its cover there. They were judging a book by its cover. And I think when you do things like that, well, you're contributing to the problems that we see in this world today, okay? I think that's what you're doing. The division, the fear, you know, everybody afraid of their own shadow, all of the just chaos and lies and not knowing what to believe and everything that is going on in the world today. I mean, y'all know, it's a chaotic place. It's inherently traumatic just living in this world that we live in today. So I think that their reaction, again, this is based on my intuition, and I'm so thankful that the Lord's blessed me with this beautiful intuition and the discernment to know and understand what I'm being guided to in any given present moment. So I'm so thankful for that. But again, what it was telling me was that they were judging me and they were afraid because I didn't fit the mold of what they expected to see in a situation like that. And that's fine. And again, like I said, whenever people do that, I think they're kind of, you know, they're going off of the fear that's embedded in them that they haven't actually dealt with or even acknowledged, maybe, I don't know. And and I definitely think that they're contributing to the problems that are in the world instead of contributing to a solution to the problems. So how could I have handled that situation differently, y'all? I mean, I sat there and I thought for maybe about a minute once my intuition kicked in, and I kind of realized what was actually happening there as I just sit there by myself, just chilling. You know, it's not like I'm staring at them or anything. You know, I'm like looking in the opposite direction. I mean, they're off to my left and the fireworks are going to be coming from the right. You know, I'm just kind of over here just chilling, looking off in this other direction. I mean, I don't know. How could I have handled that differently? I mean, I thought, again, I sat there for maybe about a minute or so and thought, what do I do? And, you know, I certainly wasn't going to go over there and talk to them. Maybe I should have, I don't know. That could have made the situation worse, could have made it better. Who knows? But I didn't do that. I could have just sat there and stayed and made them uncomfortable, whatever. I was there first. I was literally there 15 minutes before they were there. Maybe that's what I should have done, and just said, oh well. That's probably what I should have done, but whatever. Nonetheless, I got up and walked off because it was an uncomfortable situation, and it seemed as though it became an uncomfortable situation because they made it that way. It wasn't an uncomfortable situation whenever I arrived. You know, I'm just there chilling. There were other people around. It's not like it was just me and these people. There were other people scattered about. They just happened to be the closest people to where I actually was. And like I said, they were sitting maybe 50 feet away from where I was, something like that. So nonetheless, I just wanted to kind of come on here and kind of tell that story and just kind of encourage people. Don't judge a book by its cover, you know. You never know what a person's going through. Just because they don't fit the mold in any one given situation, what you think it should be, doesn't mean that they're a bad person and that they're up to no good and that you need to fear. Now, with that being said, I do want to say, I mean, I completely understand too. You know, I mean, this is a mom and her child, you know, I mean, she, you know, there's nothing like a mother's love, I'm sure. And, she wants to protect her kid at all costs. I mean, mothers and fathers, they would die for their children. So I get it. She wanted to make sure her kid was safe, and I don't fault anyone for that. I mean, that's a good way to be. You certainly have to do everything that you can to make sure that your own is cared for and safe and everything like that. But whenever you have to do that at the expense of judging a stranger, I don't know if I said that correctly or what, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, whenever in order to keep your kid safe, you have to erroneously judge a complete stranger who's just there chilling. He just happens to be by himself instead of with somebody. What are you doing? You're contributing to the problems of the world, okay? Now, I'm a little pup here. Whenever that happened last night, I, of course, went to the scripture. That's what I try to do, whenever anything significant happens in my life that's kind of noteworthy, like it was last night, I try to search through the scripture and see what it tells me and try to get guidance in that way. And I think it's important for all of us to do that. So I came across a lot of fear. Fear is talked about a lot in the scripture. And what I searched for specifically was people fearing people in the Bible, right? So, and that's what led me to that one verse. But like I said, I mean, there's a plethora. I could have chosen a bunch of different verses to talk about here, but I just picked this one from Proverbs, and let me read it for you one more time. Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. Proverbs 29, verse 25. So again, whenever we fear other individuals because of the fear that we have within ourselves and the judgment that persists and whatever the case may be, whatever the reason is, whenever we fear other people that isn't justified, well, we're creating a snare for ourselves is what we're doing. So I pray for that lady. I mean, I have no idea who she was. I got no idea. I mean, there's thousands of people in this town. Who knows who those people were? I'm sure they're good people, and she's just trying to keep her kids safe, and nobody can fault anybody for that, and I completely commend her for that. I really do. But I just pray that whatever it is within her that was causing her to judge me like that, and I mean, literally met me to the point where I was uncomfortable and just wanted to get out of the situation, which is what I did, I pray that she figures out whatever she needs to figure out in her life. So maybe if she's presented with a situation similar to that in the future, maybe she won't judge that individual, whoever they may happen to be, and create an uncomfortable situation the way that she did. So anyway, thank you all for listening to my little story about what happened at the grand extravaganza of the fireworks show last night. So anyway, how would y'all have handled that? Let me know in the comments. What would y'all have done differently? I mean, is there something that I'm not seeing? Like I said, whatever. So anyway, thank you all so much again for being here. Here's my little pup. There she is. There's Roxy. All right. So anyway, thank you all so much for being here. And hope everyone has a great 4th of July. Probably be after the 4th of July before this comes out. But nonetheless, y'all take care, and we'll see you again soon.